Yo, I've played The Last of Us 2. Let's talk first impressions.
I'm gonna find. And I'm gonna kill. Every last one of them.
Right, we're doing something a bit different here. Usually, you don't see me doing the whole Lightning Cave Bear's Den thing, but here I am because usually I like to let my sort of the game's footage do the talking, if you know what I mean. I'll have my voice in the background and I'll have the footage playing and all the rest of it. But today we're talking The Last of Us Part 2. And at this point, I'm only about 2 hours in. I've only just got the code. And to be quite honest with you, I don't want to show you too much because you need to see this for yourself. It's the sort of game where if I go showing you the first 2 hours, you've ruined it for yourself, honestly. Like, you'll often see a lot of YouTube pages sort of go, you know, oh, the first hour of this game, blah, 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 which is great. We do it ourselves. But when you see these videos start popping up for The Last of Us Part 2, don't click it. Play it yourself, trust me. And although, don't get me wrong, I will be showing some footage. It's probably already here. But anything I show you is only going to be what you've either already seen in gameplay demos, trailers, or maybe a slight extension of what you've seen in those demos and gameplay trailers. So you'll see no spoilers. I will talk no spoilers. I just want to give you my first impressions. And those first impressions, in a nutshell, absolutely incredible. Like, as you probably heard me say a million times, The Last of Us is my favourite game of all time, so to say the expectations for The Last of Us Part 2 is quite high would be an understatement. And again, only roughly 2 hours in, give or take, it's already surpassed that. You know, it's everything I could have wanted and more, to be honest. You know, again, I'm so careful of spoilers, so I'm going to tread carefully. First impressions is just, wow, stunning. It's a beautiful game. Which, you know, is expected and you've already seen in the trailers and such, but honestly, like, playing it properly, you know, on a 4K TV, on the PS4 Pro, and you know, the HDR on and all of that, really kind of took me back a bit. And, you know, I've been saying that I think this will be the best looking game on PS4 the same way the first game was the best looking game on PS3. And so far, I think that could well be the case. Obviously, you know, different environments, different lighting and stuff like that can play a big part. And until I've sort of, you know, got way further into the game, I don't think I can say for sure if it's the best looking game on PS4, but it's right up there. I think one of the most impressive things for me is like the facial animations. Like when these characters are talking to each other, like the emotion you can read on their face is just so clear. And that's not just in cutscenes. That's when the characters are just talking to each other when you're sort of, you know, walking along and they're just chatting normally. If you swing the camera around and look into their face, you can see their expression changing depending on what they're talking about and things like that, which is really cool. And speaking of characters, like Neil Druckmann and co, all the guys at Naughty Dog, know how to do characters. Like straight away, it's just characters, you know. Again, I can't really speak on individuals too much because, again, spoiler territory, but you know, if you loved the first one, you're gonna really enjoy this one, especially if you were enjoying the first one for the characters and such. And speaking of the first one, if you're one of these people who are maybe sort of undecided whether or not you want to play the first one again before going into the second one, much like Hav has recently done with his full Last of Us playthrough, which you can catch on our YouTube channel, cheap plug. If you're one of those people and you're sort of and ahhing if you want to play the first one again before diving into this one, do it. Because there are callbacks, there are nods, there are things where I would personally want to go straight from the first one into this one, because you'll just get more out of it. Don't get me wrong, if you've played the first one sort of, in the last year or so, then I'll probably do. But if you haven't played it for a long time and can't really remember the events of the first one, I highly recommend you go back and play it. Or at the very least, watch a catch-up video of some kind. Maybe have stream. Who knows? Again, there's... Well, I don't know what else I could talk about without giving too much away, but I'll tell you what I will talk about, actually. The gameplay. The gameplay is outstanding. It's a lot like the first Last of Us. You can definitely feels like a sequel. It doesn't feel like a completely new game, but also it definitely feels like the Last of Us on a new console. Like everything's more fluent. The combat in particular is really, really good. Like, it's just got... What I've always liked about the original game was the weightiness of it all. Like, it really feels, like all the combat, whether it's the shooting, whether it's the actual hand-to-hand, feels heavy. It feels realistic. And this almost doubles down on that. It makes it... It's even more realistic, is what I'm trying to say. Like, even more so than the first one. And that is saying something, trust me. It's... I don't know how to explain it. And until you play it for yourself and you feel it, you'll know what I mean. Every sort of punch, every sort of stranglehold, every struggle just feels so real, and it absorbs you in. It makes you feel like you're part of the game. It makes you... There's not many points in this game, in fact, where you're reminded that it's a game. Because not just the combat feeling so real, but cutscenes into gameplay is just seamless. It really is. Like, there have been a couple of times already, and again, we're quite early on, where I'm like, oh, okay, no, we're playing again, because it really does feel like that. The cutscenes and the gameplay, there isn't much difference between the two. They're one of the same. And it's absolutely incredible, to be honest. Like, I feel like I'm completely gushing over this game, and if it feels like I'm rushing and going quick, it's because I want to get back to it. It's because it's downstairs on pause, and I want to carry on, and I can't wait to carry on. And I just know that, this ain't the sort of game that should be rushed. You should savour it. And that's what I've been doing, in fairness. I've been, taking my times with the locations and sort of exploring them. Speaking of locations, so parts of the locations in this game just look mind-blowing. That's all I'll say. But yeah, it's the sort of game I'd recommend you take your time with. You explore. You give characters a chance to interact. Give characters a chance to talk to each other and, like, go over things. Look for letters, collectibles, because they all add to the story. It's not just with Last of Us 1. I kind of felt like a lot of the stuff you pick up, you're finding out about all these other people that you never see necessarily, and that's really cool. Like Isha's story, I always bang on about from the first one, I absolutely love. But in this one, I feel like the stuff I found so far actually just builds on the characters I've already met, or the people that they know, if you know what I mean. And it's just better world building, if it could get any better. So yeah, would I... Again, this isn't a full review. My full review will 100% come once I've completed the game, because I don't think it's fair to give a review until I've got to the end, because it's such a story-driven game. But would I recommend it just off my first couple of hours? I mean, there's a bear in the woods. Of course I recommend it. It's incredible. It's gonna... If you're looking at the price tag and thinking, oh, can I afford 55 quid? Yes, you can. Well, however you've got to do it. It's worth it. This, so far, is blowing me away. And I couldn't have asked for more. And my expectations were stupidly high. And again, I'm only a couple of hours in. Wait until I've actually sort of got really deep into it and sort of, got into the meat of this thing. But so far, first impressions, this game is excellent. We are on course for a masterpiece as it stands. But again, catch up with me, or make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, and you will be notified when the review goes live. Also, keep an eye on respawning.co.uk, not just the YouTube channel, because I will be doing a written version of my first impressions, which will go a little bit deeper. Again, it won't jump into spoiler territories, but it will probably go a little bit deeper than what I've gone into, because this is just, I'm not going off a script or anything like that. I'm just sort of, shooting the beep. So, yeah, once I've actually got time to sit, gather my thoughts, I mean, this is just a raw first impression as you get it, but once I actually get time to actually write down my thoughts, I will do so, and that will be on respawner.co.uk tomorrow. So make sure you check out that. All I can say is go play it. If you haven't played the first one and you're still waiting on the second one, go play the first one first, and then play this one. Well worth your time. I've been Mikey. Remember to subscribe, and I shall see you next time.